Hang in there. It is.
Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show, and we've got a really good one for you all today. We have a conversation with a man who is a national champion at Francie Kaufman's alma mater, Auburn University. Jackson Koivun, also the Haskins Award winner, one of the most talented young players in the game right now. Really fun conversation that Smylie had with him just on the heels of that team national championship win. So we are going to toss that maybe in about 10 to 15 minutes here. But before and after that interview, we're going to talk a little bit about the signature event on the PGA Tour that's leading into the third major of the year, and that is the Memorial Tournament presented by Workday. So on the front end of that chat with Jackson, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the names in the field, some of the guys we like, and then we'll come back on the back end of the chat with Jackson to make our one and done picks because we one and done. We need some right now, Smylie. We need something. I got Tommy Fleetwood got me a little bit. I was hoping
Dude, he was close. He was close.
And then just kind of
dude, Norm missed the cut on me, by the way.
Yeah, tough scene.
I wouldn't say a reach for Alex Noren. He was moving up the odds board. I was really excited about taking Alex Noren. I felt like I was catching a guy that was about to just have a great week, and he totally let me down. But the other two guys I was between were Shane Lowry, had a pretty good week, and Aaron Rai finished 13th. But did you hear his stats?
Tell me.
You know how I feel about his ball striking. He was first tee to green, 63rd putting.
Wow.
I mean,
he's figured out on the greens.
He's right. Like he's going to win this year. I don't know where he's going to win, but he's going to win.
Yeah, I love. He's such a unique sort of story. Everything about his sort of game and persona is like very interesting. Borderline eccentric. But it was as I was flipping this on and watching the end of the coverage. I was looking at that putt that Victor Perez made on 18 to get to 14 under, and there was Aaron Rai moving his mark, 2 over. I'm like, oh wow, like right there, one of the guys Smylie liked heading into the week. Of course, like couldn't get it done, but is doing all the right things, and yeah, if he runs into a hot putter, could absolutely pick up a win. But yeah, Noren, a strange one because he's been playing really good this year, but unfortunate for the one and done pick.
I think it was my first
big miss.
No, I think Brian Harmon missed the cut on me.
Yes, and then John Rahm as well. Actually, that's an interesting stat. So you have let's go back through we both have 3 missed cuts. Yours were Harmon at the Valspar, John Rahm at the PGA, Alex Noren at the Canadian Open. Mine were Eric Cole at the Cognizant, Ludwig Oberg at the PGA, Austin Eckroat at Colonial.
Ooh.
So we're in a little bit of a lean. I feel like it's like if we were a PGA Tour pro, because we've been comparing ourselves to the FedEx Cup standings, like we'd probably take a week off, probably go home, get a little home cooking, maybe relax a little bit, try to reset. But let's talk a little bit about the Memorial. Heading back to Jack's place, Muirfield Village Golf Club. I just want to maybe kind of run through. Let's set the table with this first because this is a signature event, and so in all these events this year, there are guys that are getting into the field through these sort of Aon Next 10 and Aon Swing 5 categories. And so your next 10 is Ludwig Oberg, Shane Lowry, Matthew Pavon, Justin Thomas, Steven Yeager, Thomas Dietrich, Will Zalatoris, Akshay Bhatia, Christian Zadenhout, and Taylor Pendrith. And then your Swing 5, Bobby Mack, Robert McIntyre jumps 29 spots up into the first spot in the Swing 5. Davis Riley, of course, after his win. Ben Griffin jumps up into that category. Chris Gotterup and Victor Perez. Those are your Swing 5 who are joining the tournament. And then on top of that, we have current year winners, Nick Dunlap, Austin Eckroat, Peter Malnati, Taylor Pendrith, and then Matt Kuchar, Brandt Snedeker, and Billy Horschel are your sponsor exemptions. And that is, of course, in addition to the top 50 from last year's FedEx Cup standings. That will be your field. So let's start with kind of like some names, some guys that you like, and maybe kind of a preview for the one and done picks we're going to make on the other side. But like, let's talk about course fit, the profile, the type of player that you like that wins at Jack's place?
Well, I mean, there's a couple players that come to mind, and a player who's not been in form at all this year. The only time we've talked about him has been when we've been talking about the Live PGA Tour debate, and that's been Patrick Cantlay. He's been a player that's had a ton of success at this course, winning the year that John Rahm had the COVID breakout before that final round, walking off that green on that 54th hole on Saturday, saying, "Hey, buddy, you tested positive," and Patrick Cantlay cruises to a victory. He's played really well there, but I'll go into just a little bit of what this golf course is. And it is, and always, it is my favorite tournament on the PGA Tour. It's my favorite golf course. Love every bit of what it makes you do, and how it makes you think out there. You have to hit the shot in which it's called, or if you don't pull it off, you're looking at a bogey or a double, and that's just a reality. And I think when you look at the leaderboards here, you see plenty of guys figure it out and hit and execute the shots, and then you see the guys that don't. And it's a leaderboard that always has like 5 or 6 guys that have it figured out. And then you go to like the bottom of the leaderboard, or the guys that miss the cut, guys that are shooting low 80s. And you're like, what course are they playing? And that is like what this golf course is. It's the risk reward that's required on just about every shot, that there's just not a ton of room for error on a lot of these shots out there. Now, especially a couple different holes. I mean, you're going to have wedges into anytime that Jack puts a wedge into your hand, there's a challenge to the shot. It's not just a bucket wedge shot. There's and if it is an easy wedge shot, that means he really challenged you on the drive. That means you like hit a freaking awesome drive. To have a wedge into where it's not as challenging of a shot. But I think about the third hole. I think about the 14th hole, these greens that have these narrow necks, and anybody remembers that famous chip in that Tiger Woods hit at 14 long and left after he tried to go for the full flop, leaves it short, then chips in for par, goes on and wins. That you can't miss left there. And it's all you're hitting off the tee is a full iron. You're hitting full iron into the fairway, and then you're hitting a 138-yard fade pitching wedge, and you can either hit it on top of a minivan or you can't. And if you don't, you're making bogey. And that's just most of the time. I mean, you can get it up and down, but you got to be like right near the edge of the green. But this golf course, it excites me because if you drive it great, you can get in a great rhythm off the tee on this golf course, and it turns into an awesome second shot course. And if you're hitting those shots and you're giving yourself looks, that's where you see a guy like Denny McCarthy over the last 2 years, who's had great ball striking weeks and given himself opportunity on the greens. And if you turn it into a putting contest on slopey greens, Denny McCarthy's going to win that putting contest, and was very close to winning last year, losing into a playoff with Victor Hovland. So my mind takes me to, okay, first off, you can't miss fairways out there. Like you need to be driving it somewhat long and straight. So Rory kind of fits that mold to me. You need to be a good putter, but you got to have the ability to kind of hit second shots kind of both directions. You can't just really be, you could play any golf, like the guy like John Rahm or Dustin Johnson. I mean, these guys hit fades, but I do think it's a course in which you really can use the slopes to your advantage if you're able to work the golf ball into the greens that correct way. So I like creative players out here. I think that's probably the way I'm going to go. Or you go with a methodical guy like Colin Morikawa, who just hits fades, but he sure knows how to hit a number. So a lot of ways to skin a cat with this place, but I'm probably going to end up leaning towards a player in which I think is going to hit a ton of greens, and hopefully they just have a good putting week.
Yeah, I mean, kind of to your point about the spread of scores you can see out here. I mean, I believe it was last year. If it wasn't last year, it was the year before, where we saw Billy Horschel, kind of emotional after shooting 84 and just like, I don't really know what to do right now. Now, I think that was probably a more of a product of where his game was and the things he was working on. But at the same time, it's a course that can, quite literally bring you to tears. But at the same time, the guys that go out and execute the shots like we saw last year, Victor Hovland, I believe, was coming off this win where you chatted with the guys at Golf Digest and said, I think he's in the conversation for one of the best players in the world. And at the time, it sounded absurd. And what did he do the rest of the year? Went out and won the FedEx Cup and played incredible golf to close the year out. So it is a fitting venue to kind of separate the best from the rest, and a signature event, and one that leads into the U.S. Open. I'm curious. We talked on our most recent episode a little bit about Rory and wouldn't it be a Rory thing for him to win here, not win the U.S. Open, win Travelers, just win everything except for majors. And I just wonder, chart out for me what best case scenario looks like for, let's just take the three guys who are kind of the cream of the crop right now. Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and Xander Schauffele. How does this week go that sets them up for the best amount of success at Pinehurst?
Well, I think it's easier, I think, for Xander and Scotty to view this as a week of, all right, let's just go get ourselves into contention. I think for Rory, he kind of knows where his game at. He played last week. You have to imagine Scotty had a pretty busy week, probably just touching the clubs for the first time yesterday, maybe. Yeah. And Xander, maybe he started touching the clubs a couple days ago. Who knows? But I think this golf course, it exposes your weaknesses pretty quickly. So if these guys are rusty that Thursday round, I think they're going to get some weather on Wednesday. So it's going to be a little softer on Thursday, which I think is beneficial to anybody that might be coming in with a little rust. If the greens were super, super firm, if the fairways were firm, then you'd have to be much, much sharper, and you could get it a little bit more exposed if you're a little off. But I think that benefits the player like Xander and Scotty that, hey, maybe they're coming in with maybe their head's not all quite over what for Xander winning the PGA, winning that first major. For Scotty, it's like, where is it? Does he have dad fatigue? Where are we in that? So I think Rory's probably going to come in with, you would think, a little bit more gun ho of, all right, let's go out, shoot a 5, 6, 7 under par round if we can get off to a hot start. But yeah, of those three, I mean, it's hard to not see Scotty not contend. I would still be picking Scotty over the three of them.
Well, and I wonder too, how Colin Morikawa intrigues me so much at this stage of.
You're thinking about
season.
picking him, aren't you?
Well, I mean, where my heart wants to go to Victor Hovland because I mean, it was just so nice seeing Victor Hovland play Victor Hovland golf at the PGA. He makes a bogey at the last, and that kind of puts a damper on the weekend. But I mean,
is it too soon to take Victor? Is that what you're asking me? Is it too? Was that just a flash in the pan on a really easy golf course?
Well, I'd love to see him play like that again, so we know he's back. But I also don't want to miss the boat on a Victor win. You know?
Remember what he said on this podcast, right?
Well, he said a lot of things. Refresh my memories. What specifically, or did he say?
He said he thought it was stupid that he played Memorial. He said it's not even worth playing for me because all the bunkers are like this.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and
that was
he had a big chunking problem, like taking too much sand out of the bunker. And he was like, it's not even worth me playing. And then he talked about how, figures out his bunker game with Joe Mayo. And then they go out and he wins Memorial. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I can see that video in my head now that he's sent out of the bunker Memorial in the practice area, like that lime green, dark green combo Jay Lindeberg outfit of him just like thumping the sand and finally hitting it good with the work with Joe Mayo. I love that they're back together, and I think he's going to play really good golf to close this year out. Now that they have it theoretically fixed, but I do. Yeah, I wonder if it's a little too early. But Colin is one who fascinates me, who's a guy who's been in contention at every major and who has won here. And so you feel like it's a guy who could see this as an opportunity to kind of set himself up for, hey, let's go win a major at Pinehurst. And as a guy who is an incredible ball striker and approach the green as one of his most solid
really good, dude.
Like Pinehurst can be perfect for him as a guy who can hit some precise approach shots into those greens. So it's like, I know we're getting out in front of Memorial. I mean, I like him here this week, but I also kind of like it as a tune-up to kind of go into that major.
He's at 4 top 5s this year. I mean, this guy's, golly, just he keeps surprising me, I guess is the best way to put it, because his ball striking is back, man. Like he's hitting it really well. He's not. I think he's hitting it fairly short right now. Like I think he is sacrificing a bit of distance right now. I don't know if he was ever a long player, but he's hitting fairways, and that putter was really good to, I think, kind of play his way into shape. Ball striking showed up, and he was at Tiger's event in Las Vegas. So maybe he's picking Tiger's brain too. You have to wonder, just one-on-one time with Tiger. I'm sure there was maybe a chat or two about, hey man, I feel pretty close. Like you're not contending right now. You want to give me some advice on how to kind of break through again?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. We know the Colin Morikawa is going to win again, and we're pretty positive that he's going to win another major at some point. And so the thing for me that I find the most intriguing surrounding Colin is what's going to be the thing that clicks into place where you're like, yeah, he got that down and now he won. So for example, with Xander, it was just like, we were asking about whether or not he had the clutch gene on a Sunday, and then he goes out of Valhalla and he has to kind of take it deep and navigate some minor wobbles and holds off Bryson DeChambeau and Victor Hovland and Colin as well in that same group and goes out and wins. And for Colin, I know the putting's been, a little bit of a sore spot for him. And the ball striking a couple of years ago was a little bit off after he won his 2 majors, but now is back on track. Driving accuracy is amazing. I'm just wondering what it's going to be where we're looking back at the story of that tournament or that major and saying that was it. It just fell into place. And like, he's the Colin Morikawa that we remember, who was kind of coming up onto the scene and who is a guy we thought was going to win a zillion majors,
Yeah, totally. And I don't know if I'm going to take Colin this week. I think I know where I'm going to use him this year. But I probably should use him, but I'm not going to.
Well, I'll say this, Smylie. Excellent tease, because now we're going to toss you over to the Jackson Koivun interview, where you're going to chat with our buddy from Auburn about what an incredible run he's had in his very short collegiate golf career, and it's only going to get better and better. But now he's a national champion, and that's going to be a fun conversation. On the other side of that interview is where you're going to find out who Smiley's taking and one and done this week, and who I'm taking and one and done this week, and a couple teases there. But stick with us through that break, and we'll shoot you over to Jackson Koivun now, and we'll have our Memorial one and done picks on the other side.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Smylie Show. We have Jackson Koivun joining the pod. This is, I tell you what, if you don't know who this kid is, you're going to learn about this guy. He is an absolute stud, coming off a winning national championship team from the Auburn Tigers, playing on their men's golf team. And Jackson, I mean, coming in as a freshman, what has it been like the last 3 days? I mean, did you ever dream that this would happen? And what have y'all been doing to celebrate the last 3 days?
There's so many emotions with the win. We worked so hard as a team to put ourselves in that moment, and then you're actually in it, and you're trying to rely on all that work. And
yep,
over these past couple of days, it's been a lot of media stuff, a lot of traveling. We landed in Atlanta at 9:00. And then I had a practice round at 11 the next day in Atlanta. So we drove to Auburn and then drove back to Atlanta. But don't have a bunch of rest. But hopefully these next couple of days I can get some sleep.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, you would like to have like 2 weeks off to, hang with the boys, go to Lake Martin, have a good guys trip to celebrate. But no, not for you. I got a text saying that, well, I got to do some homework and I got to get ready for sectionals at U.S. Open. So no rest for the weary, straight back to work. And by the way, is school not over? What do you still have homework in?
I got summer school. I'm doing 2 classes over the summer, so I'm just trying to get a couple extra credits in here and there.
Good. But what's the 2 summer classes, if you don't mind me asking?
Geology and ISMN.
Yeah, sure. What is that? Fill me in.
I'd love to tell you.
You'll figure it out.
I've barely opened the class and I've missed a test and a lecture and all this stuff already, but I get a little extension from national championships.
And why wouldn't you? And we're going to get into just a little bit more of the national championship and what y'all were able to accomplish. But I think I got to start with where I first saw you. And this was at the U.S. Amateur at Ridgewood. And this happened to be, I would say, one of my biggest Golf Channel media events that I had been put on to start my media career.
Right.
And I was just kind of doing some course research, just going out of the golf course. Honestly, was probably doing too much research. I was like over preparing. It was still stroke play, I think, even in the first round. And I'm on the 17th hole, which was one of my favorite holes at Ridgewood. And I happened to see a young guy who happened to be you on the 17th fairway. And you absolutely just nuked this 3-wood going for that green and 2. And it was like a quick swing. I could tell you there was a ton of speed in there. And, I'd watched a bunch of players that day already. And I was like, this guy's got to be really good. Because, I recognize a fair amount of names on the USAM leaderboard. But, when you're out there following, you don't know whose group is who. And sometimes you just don't have to put a face with a name. And I was like, all right, I'm going to look this cat up. And it was like Jackson Koivun. Okay, he's in high school. He's a junior. Oh, he's the number 1 junior. He's heading to Auburn in a little over a year. And here we are, Jackson. I mean, you've come quite a long way since that U.S. Amateur at Ridgewood.
Yeah. That was a great venue. I really like that course. It kind of ate me up. Arcola kind of ate me up, but it's all right. And but ever since then, I've kind of grown a little bit, obviously physically and mentally, and progressed the game a little bit too.
Yeah. So up to that point, how would you describe your junior golf career? Were you somebody that kind of won at pretty much every single stage, or did you kind of find yourself a little later in your junior process? I mean, being number 1 in the junior in the country, obviously you had to be pretty dang good from the get-go.
Yeah, I had a good amount of success when I was younger. I played all like the US Kid stuff, and I was always competing. And then got into the AJGA when I was a freshman, and kind of just stayed there for the rest of my junior career. I mean, then started playing all the Elite Am series my senior summer, and now I'm here.
And I told everybody here, if you don't know who Jackson Koivun is, you're going to. And Jackson, I'm about to gas you up if you don't mind. Is this permission to be gassed up? Because this is actually some great stuff. I'm just sitting here looking at all your accomplishments from your freshman year at Auburn, and you won twice. You won the SEC Individual Championship, won at Pinehurst in another college event. You had 10 top 5s, 11 top 10s, which is just insane to think about in 1 year. You don't even play that much. That's so many. You're the Fred Haskins Award winner. You were the first Auburn player in history to win the Haskins and the first freshman to be awarded that award since Justin Thomas at Alabama back in 2012. You won the Phil Mickelson Award, All-American, individual runner-up, which we need to talk about because I saw a video that was absolutely chaos on that ninth hole you were finishing up on. Yeah. Ben Hogan Award winner, SEC Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year. You guys get it. This guy is absolutely a bona fide stud. And why don't we touch on that national championship individual stroke play, because you were runner-up and you absolutely flush a shot into that ninth hole. You're 1 back. You need a birdie, and what happens?
I hit a little too good. I just nailed the flag stick. My coach told me to aim a little right of the flag, and I should have listened to him, but it was a pretty good shot. I probably would have gone to maybe 8 feet if it didn't hit the flag. It also could have had the chance to just ride down the flag and go in, but ended up in the bunker, and then I gave the bunker shot a little scare too. I think it burned the right edge.
Man.
But I needed a birdie there to get in the playoff. But I mean, we'll be back next year and try to get it again.
Yeah, you will, buddy. I mean, just an incredible year. I mean, there was a couple more accomplishments I didn't even read because the list was that long. I mean, I was working the USAM again the following year, this past year at Cherry Hills, and so when I saw your name on the match play leaderboard, you win your first couple matches, you make it to the quarterfinals. I wasn't surprised at all because I had picked you like I feel like a mini Nick Kleiner picking you out of the rough here, and I was like, this guy's going to be really good. So I've had my eye on you ever since then. But you feel like did you just carry some type of momentum into the year? Did you see this success coming into Auburn, or did you surprise yourself every step of the way?
I definitely surprised myself. I mean, I knew what I was capable of, but it was just kind of getting over a mental hump. People like to talk about freshmen, they kind of slack a little bit at the start and then kind of get going. But I kind of just looked at it as I've been playing those Elite Am series and the USAM and all that stuff, and I'm playing against the same guys every week that I can go compete with them. And if I play good golf, I'm right in the mix.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too, because the intimidation factor of when you get to school and you're playing with all these guys that you feel like are playing on a different level. You yourself, you've played in 2 USAMs, and did you make match play at Ridgewood? I feel like you did.
No, I did not.
It was close,
I was
right?
very close, but I had a tough 10 holes to finish my round.
Yeah, that was a sweet place, but you had some success at Cherry Hills, and then you're able to carry that over and get off to a hot start. But I think everybody as a freshman and any person that's ever played college golf, Jackson, knows how difficult qualifying can be. And your team, I mean, I just think about the guys that were coming back, and I look at Carson. Is it Baca? Is that how Baca? J.M. Butler, who I was so high on heading into the year, watching Carson have success, but also J.M. have success at the USAM, and are so close to getting into that final to play, I believe, Nick Dunlap. Or actually, no, I think Nick Dunlap beat J.M. Butler, if that's right, in the semifinals.
Neil Shipley
beat I have them all confused. Parker Bell was in there too. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, you had a dang good team coming in. And my point getting to this is showing up. I mean, y'all's qualifying had to be pretty ruthless.
Yeah, it was. That's probably what I was most nervous about coming in because, I mean, our team is very deep. Even our 6, 7, 8, 9 guys can go play in our starting lineup and we'll have success. So and we do a lot of qualifying, and coach likes to keep it really fair. We're playing for 6 spots or playing for 4 spots. And only one person is exempt. So you either have to play really well in the tournament or play some really good golf back home.
Did you get to a point to where you're like, all right, coach, I mean, am I going to be exempt? Where did that happen throughout the year? Because surely at some point, Kleiner couldn't leave you at home because you were playing that well, right?
Yeah, so I think I got exempt after my first event because I got second, and then, but he kind of does it tournament by tournament. So I was exempt maybe 3 of the 6 tournaments in the fall, and then I almost missed the first tournament of the year. I was coming off a second at Jones Cup, and we went and did qualifying, and I got 6th. And JM got 7th.
Oh gosh!
So coach,
that's not what Kleiner was looking for, probably.
No, but I was lucky enough to get the pick, and I played well in Hawaii, and I was pretty much good throughout the rest of the spring because of that.
That Hawaii tournament, that's like the Birdie Fest one, isn't it?
Yeah, I shot 17 under and got 4th.
No,
it was. You can go get some birdies out there for sure.
Oh man, I mean, I miss college, being with my teammates, and I still think about those years and how fun it was to practice with my teammates. But when you got there, and I already mentioned some of those top players, but I mean, y'all were a very experienced team when y'all showed up, or excuse me, when you showed up into college. How much was there as far as goals goes for the team? Was national championship on y'all's radar from day one, or was that something that once y'all started winning in the fall and you're like, you know what, like who's going to beat us this year? Yeah.
I mean, I think for every team, national championship's the end goal. It became pretty realistic after SECs. We knew we had a squad of guys that can go get us a national championship. And I think throughout the year, I mean, it was always on the back of people's minds. But, again, it's match play. Anything can happen. I mean, we didn't play great in stroke play at nationals. I think we finished 6th.
Yeah. But
being able to get in the match play, and then we have a bunch of guys with a great head on their shoulders, it was really good to see us get some wins there.
Yeah, I mean, get some wins is an understatement. I think y'all won 9 times in stroke play, and then the other 2 wins, which I guess would count for a 10 and 11, were in match play. And in the fall, was the SEC tournament match play thing? Is that still a match play deal?
We do stroke and match. So
did y'all win that too, or no?
I think we won stroke. I know we won match, but I'm not sure if we won.
So y'all had 3 match play championships this year,
yeah,
right?
We had the fall preview, SEC match play, and nationals.
Wow. Okay, so that's pretty impressive. How'd you do in match play in all of those three outings?
I went 8-0.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching you. Let's see, this would have been, oh gosh, what you were down in one of your matches at the national championship, and then kind of came roaring back, right? Was that this?
That was FSU. I was playing Brett Roberts, who's a really good player, and
that's right.
I kind of got off.
I remember your chip in. That was
sick.
Yeah.
I got off to a bad start, but I kind of flipped the mentality around on the 8th hole and made a putt and kind of got hot from there on out and ended it off with that chip, which was really cool.
That chip was dirty. I mean, can we talk about just your game in general? Because you're obviously an incredible player, but let's just talk about your kind of what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and why you think you've been so successful at the college and amateur level. Was it your ability that you just know your game? Is it just how talented you are? What exactly do you think it is that makes you click and have all this early success?
I'm definitely talented. I think there's guys out there who definitely are given a little more talent than me. But I would say course management is something I do really well, just knowing what I can do to take bogey out, take double out, and make birdies. And I'd say that's something I do pretty good at. And then obviously I think putting is my strong suit. And then I don't hit it too far. I'm not the biggest dude out there, but I hit it pretty straight, which is very helpful because a lot of those courses now, the rough's getting thicker. And I mean, of course they're still long, but you want to be in the fairway.
What's like your cruising ball speed, I guess? You say you're not too long, but I feel like all these kids coming up are just so long. So like, what is a cruising ball speed for you?
I'd say on course it's like 170 to 172.
Yeah, that's plenty.
It's enough. There's definitely guys out there who have more, but I mean, as I grow and get through college, I think it'll get up to 175. I think that'll be perfect. Yeah.
And I've got to mention, too, one of my favorite players on the Auburn team, besides yourself, obviously, is my boy. Got to mention him, Ryan Eshelman. He has got to be the life of the team, the best personality. But I sent him a text and asked him about you and just anything that we could talk about. And one of the things that he mentioned, and you just kind of said it yourself, was he said every single putt looks like it should go in. And you just kind of talked about your putting. I mean, for you, how you see putts and how you read putts, are you somebody that just sees the apex and the line, the curvature? Is that something that you just naturally are able to see? Or are you like a spot aim point type of guy that is just really good at reading greens that way?
I'm definitely all visual and feel. I've always been that way. I'm pretty good at seeing like the arc of the putt, I think.
Yeah.
And then I think I match the speed and the line really well. That like when I throw down the line, I know most of the time what speed it should be at. Mm-hmm. And I think, I think speed's probably the most important part of putting. I mean, obviously getting it started on line's really important too, but if you have perfect speed, the hole just gets that much bigger.
I've always said it. I even when I was on tour, I would on like 5-6 footers. I didn't know which way they would go. I would just try to dive the ball into the hole because it just makes the hole bigger. The harder you hit a putt, the smaller the hole gets. So it's actually
Right.
that's great advice you're giving anybody that's watching or listening. But I think the people that really want to tune in, this is the stuff that gets people up and excited about. And this is the Circle T collection. We have just got to get in to what your putter collection is with the Circle Ts. I'm hearing that you're somebody that is a club collector and has quite the collection. So how do we got any in the room that we can show off? Most guys have like 6 or 7 putters in their room. I mean, how deep are we rolling right now with the Circle Ts?
I think we're at 5 or 6, so it's not too deep. But
okay, but a good
I
lineup.
I got some good ones. I got a lot of that 5. I've used that putter forever. I've got obviously the one with the slant neck that I've been using forever, and got one with a little knuckle neck, and I just got one with a flow neck, but it feels a little different. So,
Hey, what are you using now?
I use the plain 5.5.
Gotcha.
It's the one with the fangs and then the little slant neck on it.
That's like the one JT, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was younger, I really liked JT's putter, but obviously back in 2018, 2019, you couldn't really get your hands on it. I wasn't about to spend like $10,000 on it. So I first started with the Odyssey 7S.
Yep.
Because it was the fang and it had the slant. And
Yep.
ever since then, I used that. And then Scotty finally released that putter, and I got it. And I've used it for 3 years now. So,
did y'all make a pit stop out there in Carlsbad at the studio?
we went out right before Christmas last year.
No, y'all did. Was Paul there?
Yes.
He's the best.
He was really nice to us. And I got a 009 out there, so that was pretty cool.
Ooh, let's go. That's the blade, right? Like that's the old. Is that like the Adam Scott or Jordan putter or no?
No, it's that same head. I got it's like Cameron Smith's like. So it's pretty sweet, and I've tried to use it, but I'm not a blade guy. But maybe one day.
It sure looks and feels amazing. It
does.
You wish it was. That's the thing about a blade putter now. It used to be nobody had mallets, nobody had different putting grips. Everybody was conventional and putted with blades. Now you see everything from an arm lock to the long broomstick. You see everything now, and I think more guys are going to the mallet just because it's more consistent. But there's nothing better than that blade when you pull that thing out.
They look really good, and you look down on it, you're like, man, I'm going to make everything, but. It's got that. I would say it's a little less forgiving than a mallet. I think there's a reason. I mean, if you go look on tour now, it's like the top 10 in the world. Like I think maybe 1 uses a blade.
I know,
and there's a reason for that.
Cam Smith is dirty with that blade.
Oh my gosh, I got that putter. I was like, I'm gonna putt like him, and then it wasn't working. But
man, so what about you just kind of mentioned Justin Thomas and watching his putting with that type of putter, but who were some of the guys that you liked watching up growing up as a kid? I mean, you're so young that all the people that you're probably going to name are guys that I've been playing with. So I'm curious, who are the guys that you love to kind of model your game after, or just guys you like to watch?
I really like JT. I've met him maybe once or twice, but I really like the way he plays the game. Obviously watched you a little bit growing up. Let's go. I mean, not to name Ricky and Jordan and all those guys.
Yeah.
Obviously now watching Scotty doing what he's doing is unbelievable.
Silly, right?
It's crazy. I don't know how someone can be that good, but he's doing it. That was about the era I watched. I didn't really get to watch much Tiger except was it 2019 Masters?
Yeah. Yep.
Got to watch that, but I didn't get to watch much of him growing up. Trying to think who else. No one else is really ringing a bell right now, but
right. And golf swing wise, I mean, you have a very unique golf swing. It's a quicker tempo. You shallow the club beautifully. Have you always had the same swing instructor, and are there players that you like to watch that you feel like have a similar type tempo or swing the golf club similar?
I've had the same swing instructor for about 7 or 8 years now. He's never really tried to change that tempo. I mean, it's kind of just part of me now.
Yeah, I love it.
I don't think there's too many players out there that kind of do it. I mean, the only thing you kind of see with me is like that side bend. I got a lot of that, and people have told me that looks like JT, but I'm trying to get rid of it now. I'm trying to get a little more on top of it and compress it a little more, but yeah.
I mean, how much weight have you put on since you've gotten to school? I imagine that's something too that you've probably added some lbs just from eating more in college, and then also hitting the weight program.
I actually haven't put on that much. I may have put on. I was really sick basically all of the fall. Like,
really?
Like maybe half the tournaments or 3/4 of the tournaments I played, I was just like really, really sick, and I lost 15 pounds in the fall just from being like sick. I went to like ER like twice and I couldn't figure it out. And then I found something, I guess, and it fixed itself, but I'm back up. I'm probably up 5 since I got here now. So
okay.
Another
call
20
to 5.
Yeah.
And
we're working.
Well, I mean, we see the big old Auburn flag behind you. Have to always mention my wife was a cheerleader at Auburn. I get there plenty of times. Nick Kleiner's been very kind to me the times that I've been able to come into town to get some practice, and he's always been very, very lenient with that. And now my daughter, I think she's already going to Auburn. She's only 16 months old, but she loves Aubie. So I guess I'm going to be some form of an Auburn fan as I continue to grow on being a dad to her. But what I was going to ask you was, I eat so many different restaurants at Auburn. It's a great foodie town. And I found out from not only your coach, but Ryan, that you don't have much of an appetite for anything other than cheeseburgers and chicken fingers and no veggies. So I was going to run you through the whole list of all the great restaurants, but that's all. What's going on here, man?
I think they over exaggerated a little bit, just a little bit. I mean, I do like a good burger. I think that's a great,
you're a simple man
decision. I don't know why they're always giving me stuff about it, but I never ordered chicken fingers. I don't know why they say that. Like, maybe if I go to Guthrie's, that's the only thing they have.
Ooh, it's good though. It's good. Guthrie's
it's really good. It's good. But I eat vegetables. I don't know. I don't know where they're pulling this from.
It's just you're a freshman, man. I mean, next year you can be like, hey, man, I eat veggies. It's all good.
I love broccoli.
Okay,
I mean, it's a great.
Yeah. Jackson Koivun, big broccoli guy, of course. So, is there any restaurants in Auburn though that you're like, man, this is it? I got 1 or 2 meals, and this is where I'm going.
Hamilton's is really good.
Mm-hmm.
The Hound is really good.
I love the Hound.
Acre's really good. That's really fancy.
Yep, that's an special occasion.
Yeah. Where else?
Bow and Arrow. You been there yet?
Not yet. I've drove by it a couple times, but
good mac and cheese.
Yeah,
I would recommend that one. What Mama Goldberg's? That's a staple, right?
Yeah, I actually haven't been there either.
Come on.
I know. I need to go.
I mean,
I'm not the biggest sandwich guy, so.
Gotcha. Because the freshman 15 is for anybody that's in a fraternity or sorority or whatever. Anybody that goes to Auburn, it starts and ends in Mama G. So it's from those nachos and the sandwiches.
Yeah.
And you haven't even been there yet. That's why we've only put on 5 pounds at Auburn.
I know. We're working on it.
Yeah. We need to keep beefing you up with that broccoli and Mama G's and maybe some bow and arrow. But yeah, it's a great spot, great town, great college town. And before we go, we kind of just hit it right off the top, but just overall thoughts about the golf course. And it was the first time they've had this venue at La Costa for a national championship. You played it, y'all won there. It's going to continue to be there for the time being. I'm not sure how many years it's booked for, but just what were your overall impressions of the golf course? I mean, it was firm as crap from what I could tell.
I thought it was really good. I thought it was a really good test of your entire game. Like there isn't anything you can slack in and like play well. Obviously, the course is very new. Greens were very firm. Hole 8 and 16 were not fun when you're trying to hit pitching wedge.
I didn't like 16. Like force carry, firm green, bunker behind the green.
Like,
that was a bad
hole. If you come up any short, you're in the water. So it's like you're hammering it in that bunker and trying to make up and down. And I think next year it'll be even better. I thought the greens could have been faster this year. They were only like a 10.5. So I think next year it could be really tricked out if they play them at like 12s and the greens are a touch softer. But then again, the NCAA might want them baked out again, and we're going to see more of concrete greens on 16.
Yeah, I mean, you could hear the thud on TV of how firm the golf course was. I didn't like that 16th hole. It's like, man, these guys are hitting perfect golf shots. It's one bouncing into the bunker. I was like, this is a dumb hole. I didn't like that at all. And y'all played at y'all's regional at LSU, didn't you?
Right. Yeah.
You want to talk about a hard golf course when that place opened? It was when they opened. It was my freshman year when it opened, and those greens, you couldn't stop a ball on them. Like that 11th hole, the 15th hole. Yeah, couldn't stop a ball on them. Can you imagine playing that course firm?
Yeah, that course was hard. They definitely had some room to take it back a little bit too. They weren't playing all the way back.
Yeah,
I remember looking at the course rating at like 78, and I was like, whoa.
There's some room out there. You just can't ever miss left. If you don't miss left, you can play the course. And I had a good two-way miss in college for about 3 years, so that was a lot of fun playing that course every day. It shaped me to the man I am today, I should say. Yeah. All right, so where we got next? We got U.S. Open sectionals. Where in Atlanta is it?
It's in Golf Club of Georgia.
Golf Club of Georgia. Okay, is that 2 courses there? 1.
There's 2, but we're playing Lakeside.
Okay, Lakeside. Cool.
So
you got your tee time yet?
7:41 a.m.
Cool. How many spots they got?
Not sure. I think maybe 5.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to be at the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. Jackson, hope to see you there. I know you got to get back to work, get some homework done. If you need any help, definitely don't text me. I would, if it were me, I would maybe do the Chat GPT thing. I think I hear that gives you a lot of really good information these days. I feel like you kids now have like Google as your guide, where back in the day when we had Google, you weren't finding anything good. So hopefully you can get all your homework done and cleaned up and get to bed so you get ready for practice round and make it over to Pinehurst, my man.
Hopefully.
Well, Jackson, I appreciate your time. Go get him this week. I definitely would love to get on the links with you soon as well.
Yeah,
we need to get Charlie on as well because he's got the shanks with his wedge. We need to get it all sorted out. But
I can try to help.
Our guys at the member at Hope Valley, and we can't wait to hear about how he finished up in our recap this week. But Jackson, thank you very much. And I guess War Eagle? I guess I can say that. Yeah, War Eagle. Yeah, there it is. It kind of hurt coming out, but it's fine. Jackson, thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Jackson Koivun, Auburn University Haskins Award winner, national champion, and the newly minted Jack Nicklaus Award winner. So not only did he do all of those aforementioned things and he has a lot of hardware in his closet, we're going to see Jackson at the Memorial Tournament this week playing as an amateur by virtue of winning that award. So really cool honor for him to gain, and will be very interesting to see him get to test his game against the world's best at a venue like Memorial. Excited to see that.
Little prediction time as well. I mean, tomorrow is golf's longest day, correct?
Tomorrow is golf's longest day.
I think
big intrigue.
I think we're going to see Jackson in back-to-back events. I think he's going to cruise through. I just got that feeling. Come on, you come on the Smylie show. We give you the bump. We're bringing the bump.
We are bringing the bump. So wait a second. So because how does that work? Because didn't they had a bunch of guys that try to qualify in Dallas that are already in now?
Yeah,
to the US Open.
That's Dallas one is always a little earlier. And in May.
So tomorrow's golf's longest day with a number of different qualifying sites. Copy that. Okay, yeah. There was some intrigue. They had to move some courses around here in the Triangle. I've heard some things about some greens that I hate to hear it. I hate to report it. We're just going to keep that on the back burner, file that away, put a pin in that. We'll offline that discussion. Really hate to see it. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this episode. And we're here to make some Memorial Tournament one and done picks. And Let's go. Your turn. You were leading us off this week. As we've mentioned before, you put up a goose egg with Alex Noren this last week. I earned 41 points with Tommy Fleetwood. You have 2,391 points and change. I have 2,193 points and change.
We're having big weeks. We're having big weeks. I feel it. Let
me go here and see where we are in the FedEx Cup standings. Golly, this doesn't even make sense. I mean, so I think we're now 3 and 4. We are behind Scotty and Xander. Xander has 2,688 points. Would you care to venture a guess how many points Scotty Scheffler has?
4,000.
4,351 points.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
That's a not insignificant.
Doesn't matter, brother. You're going to still start at 10 under par. You know, that's just at the Tour Championship.
We need to start the points should convert to strokes. That's really what it should be. He should be able to show up to Eastlake with like 3,000
That's all we need for TV.
All right. So who you got this week?
So you know what it's like when you go to Golf Galaxy or PGA Superstore, you go to your local pro shop and you just grab that putter off the rack and you just can't stop hooping. Well, let me tell you something. I know of a couple players that might be putting in some new putters this week.
This is breaking news.
I'm not sure if they're in the bag or not.
Okay.
But one of the players that I'm going to pick is going potentially have a new wand.
Okay.
And I do not know if it's going to be in there or not. But if it is, I like it. And that player that I'm going to pick, and it's not just because the wand, it's because I think he's really, really close. And this is a golf course that I feel like requires the creativity that I talked about off the beginning. You got to be able to work it both ways. And sometimes for a player that's struggling with their iron game, it's like this golf course makes you see and hit the shots that are in front of you. And he's been driving it really well and straight. And I'm going to get to it here. This player I'm picking is Jordan Spieth.
Jordan Spieth new wand.
Maybe.
Can we share any details as to the wand?
Just let Jonathan Wall do the talking for you, because you have to imagine that'll pop up, right?
Well, you'd think so, but I would just love. I mean, come on, dude.
I can't say a word.
I'm a sicko.
Can't say a word.
Like it's like I'm a dog and you're just dangling the treat bag in front of my face. I'm a putter tinker over here, and I just want to know. I want to know details. Okay, can I ask one? Can I ask a yes no question?
The other player.
Can I ask a yes no question on Jordan? Is it a TaylorMade Spider?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
All right, what's the other player? What's the other player with the putter change?
The other player who I played with this past weekend, who I almost just picked, but I ended up taking, I think I know where I want to take this other player. He might go to a blade this week, and I saw him shoot a 61 with said putter, which we added after the round. I was like, holy you shot 10 under, man. And that player is Justin Thomas. So,
hello.
Yeah.
So he's going to go to a blade, and same question. Same question there. So because he was using it was like that Scotty
thing,
yeah, with the wings on it. So it's probably it's like a standard Scotty blade.
I put it in my hands, and man, did that blade roll! It it was the type of blade where the toe didn't over release. It just felt so right.
How was True, by the way? You guys have a good time?
Great.
We didn't recap
played good,
that.
by the way. I played good.
There you go.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
You're in good company. Play good.
It was actually hysterical because we were playing quarters,
Yeah.
and there was 6 of us at one point, and I just wanted to get a game going. And of course I flip and I'm heads, everybody else is tails. And then my brother flips and he ends up going tails. So it's my brother and I versus JT and AV and Cole Swindell was there.
Okay.
And there was a couple other guys ended up backing out by the end of the round, but eventually we re-recruited Cole to be on Lucky and I's team. And now Cole, Lucky, and I are the new dream team. I actually have a pretty great crop that I'm going to send you a picture of right now.
This is amazing.
Because we were a force to be reckoned with until we end up losing on the 17th green.
But the vibes were high, which is probably the most important part.
But, I mean, if you were, I think, JT's like, he's been close this year. He's had a lot of, I think he's been much more consistent, having top finishes, maybe not quite getting it all out of his round, but had a good PGA. I mean, we saw that 6-shot, how close he was at the PGA with how well he was hitting it. Right. So he looked really good. So
yeah, I like those picks. So now for mine, we've discussed a couple of different options here.
Yes, I sent you the text.
Okay. All right. Perfect. This is great radio, great podcasting. Let me tell you.
Actually, I'll just show everybody. Here we go.
Yes, this is great. This is the classic. This is the dream team picture. I believe that's Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Michael Jordan. And but instead it's I think Smiley's Larry Bird. I believe Lucky is Magic Johnson, and Cole is Michael Jordan. So there you go. That's a good verbal depiction of the photo that I've just received. So I mean, this is a tough one, man, because boy, do I want to take Victor Hovland. I just feel like it's time, and but it might be a little bit too early. And I also like Hulme Morikawa at Pinehurst. Or do I use him here? And then it's like, do I just play it safe and take a guy like Patrick Cantlay, not playing great, but could this get him back on the right track? He's won a year.
That's a good point.
And then I've not even used Xander yet. Oh no, I have. I use Xander at the API. So disregard that piece. So and I was looking at the rest of the guys on this list, and it's like, do I use Rory at the Open? There's just a lot of these one and dones, man. They start to get tricky real quick. It was all sunshine and daisies early on, but now we're really gonna have to make some tough decisions. So, oh man, I'm gonna go kind of off the board here.
Oh gosh, what are we doing here?
Hello, friends, listeners, and viewers. This is Charlie Hulme, of course, breaking in with a bit of a emergency public service announcement. What you almost just heard was a 3-minute discussion in which I made Adam Scott my one-and-done pick for the Memorial Tournament, which had a lot of stats to support it, some great rationale for why I was going so far down the board. All would have been good and fine. Just one minor problem. Adam Scott is not playing in the Memorial Tournament. That was a huge oversight by the guy who had just finished reading a list of all the participants in the field, including the sponsor exemptions. In my mind, I'd been so trained to assume that Adam Scott was getting sponsor exemptions into all these signature events that I just went ahead and ran with that. Having just seen that he was not in the field, for some reason, my brain said he's in the field, he's good to go, we're going to rock with him. So my deepest apologies. I'm going to spare you that full rationale. And Smylie, of course, had we'll get to this at the end of the podcast, but as mentioned earlier, he was at Baltusrol. He's at Sleepy Hollow. We did not have time to record the back end of this podcast. So I'm just cutting in here. I'm giving you my pick. I'm going to keep it a lot simpler than the direction I was going. I'm going with Collin Morikawa for a ton of different reasons, some of which I mentioned on the front end of this. I feel like he's in great form. It's a signature event, so it's a worthwhile pick because you can get a lot of FedEx Cup points for that. This is, of course, where he's won before. So I'm going with Colin this week, even though I also love him the following week at Pinehurst. I'm going to use Colin as my one and done pick at the Memorial Tournament at Muirfield Village. So there you have it. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. My apologies for the cut in. We will do better next week. We're reeling a little bit on the one and done front. This has to be rock bottom. We can only go up from here. So stick with us. We'll get you some winners. So you have Baltusrol, you have Sleepy Hollow on deck. You got a nice little week lined up for yourself.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow and breaking news, I guess, playing Sleepy Hollow with Adam Schefter. It was just fun.
You broke a piece of news about Adam Schefter.
Yeah.
Look at you, dude. You're the Adam Schefter insider.
And then back to work, dude. I haven't worked since the Masters, so I'm working Memorial this week and 3 in a row. So Memorial, U.S. Open, Travelers. So I'm actually excited to hear my voice to see if it, like when I talk on the mic again, if it still works. So it'll be fun to see if it's that part of my game still works.
it's like picking up the clubs after a while. You know, it's like you just hope you don't get
knocking the rust off.
Yeah. So there you have it. That concludes our Memorial preview / Jackson Koivun interview, which again you'll see Jackson teeing it at Muirfield Village this week with that winning the Jack Nicklaus Award. So very cool stuff there. We appreciate you watching and listening as always, and we will be back here with a little recap of Muirfield. And I don't know what that's going to look like, Smylie, because at that point we will be into U.S. Open week, and I'll be shuttling back and forth from Durham to Pinehurst, do some shows with you. So just we'll see where we end up fitting that Muirfield recap in, but we're excited about that week to be on site together.
If anybody in the Durham area has a good helicopter that we can borrow for the week for Charlie, would save some time.
Please, any Durham area helicopter owners. There might be like 2 or 3 of you. If you have them, we'll love to take a little look at that, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of long round trips and then a move the following week. So I'm thrilled, as you can tell. So yeah, we're excited. Most importantly, we're going to be in the same place on site for a major once again, 3rd time this year. It's been a lot of fun every time we've done it. So looking forward to that. And yeah, looking forward to another signature event this week. So appreciate y'all watching and listening, and we will be back here to talk to you again soon.
You know, I listen to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our lovely fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too. So please keep it up.
For all the good people of YouTube, like and subscribe.
You guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the